Hello.
Let me tell you something, Mean Gene. Sorry, I don't know where that came from.
Maybe you've got a 90s movie on the brain, like
Thunder,
The Nanny, or
The Nanny. Ooh, The Nanny was good.
Or what was the wrestling one called? He did. Was that 80s or 90s?
I'm trying to think of the one where he's driving the boat.
Thunder in
Paradise. Thunder in Paradise.
That's a TV show, but just the same. Yes. Hello, everybody. How's it going today? We're rambling on here like we ain't even doing a show. Chris Adams, Travis Rollins, here for your entertainment as usual. Travis, how's your week been?
Oh man, it was good, man. We did a lot of stuff this week. I went to Charlestown Historic Landing in Charleston, South Carolina.
Hey, what's that shirt say? Maybe you show us give a better visual of that shirt.
That's Harry Otter, boy.
Harry Otter.
Harry Otter. Yes. Yeah, that was they had that over there. We got
Is there a particular spell that Harry Otter can perform?
Harry Otter can do the Adavra Cadabra.
Adavra Cadabra. Is that what you said?
With the blicky.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he builds things with a wand, like Maximus Damus or something.
That would be Ronald Beasley.
Oh,
that would be the Beaver family.
Ronald Beaversley.
Yeah, Ronald Beaversley. He could probably do like some Steamus Clamus or something like that.
I got you.
Yeah. But now around here, we got otters, man. We got beavers. We got alligators. We got cane-brakes, rattlesnakes, and I was about to say rattleheads because
rattleheads.
Cottonmouth was coming next. And
we got rattleheads and cotton butts and
rattleheads,
everything in between.
Flannel snakes, but we got one called a coral snake. Was this? That's the most deadly. That's the most venomous snake in North America. But I ain't never seen one in my whole life, and I've been searching for one, so we don't got to worry too much about them.
Do you know what kind of a good snake is a good? Do you know what kind of snake is a good snake? Not a single one of them.
Not a single one. I was gonna say, ooh, my mind is working. I was gonna say a trouser snake. What's a trouser snake? I was thinking we're doing a comedy movie. So
I was gonna say not a single one of them. Where is your mind tonight,
I love
sir?
Snakes. You know what I mean? And if I could do it all over, you just made the list. If I could do it all over, I might be a herpetologist, and that's not the study of sexually transmitted diseases. That's the study of reptiles and amphibians.
Reptiles.
We got a great show. Diseases. We've been laughing and cutting up already.
Oh, we do have a great show. Hey,
how was your week? How was your week? Hold on, you've been busy this week. You've been busy.
Man, I'm still busy with this house.
I mean, I've been busy too, but I've been busy doing fun stuff.
I know, and I wish I was busy with fun stuff because this is not fun, but it's necessary.
Right.
So, it is what it is.
Right. I also learned this week that we went to Linville Campers, and I learned that our migratory bats suffer from something called white nose fungus. It's like poison ivy to them. So they wake up in the middle of and these migratory bats hibernate. So they wake up in the middle of their hibernation, like scratching their noses. Well, this makes them hungry. So now they got to go out and find food. They can't find food. They can't sleep. So we're losing bats, man. And we need bats. Y'all like mosquitoes? Which one you want? You want bats? How many of you ever seen a bat? Don't be afraid of bats or been in contact with a bat. They eat mosquitoes. We want to try to help our bats. I don't know how we help them, but we want to help them.
Yeah, I don't really pay attention to bats. I've seen bats flying around, but they're not the cool bats.
Sorry, I just wanted to throw that in there. I was on my nature loving tip there for a minute.
Nature loving tip. You're like the Mr. Camper.
Yeah.
I'll start calling you Mr. Camper. You camp more than anybody I've seen in my life. you camp more in 2 months. I've seen people camp in 2 years.
Yeah, I like the woods, man. I like the outdoors for sure.
But anyway, this week we are doing comedies. We've been kicking this idea around for a little bit of talking about some 90s comedies. We don't do enough 90s work here anyway on the show. we are always focused on the 80s because it's one of our more fun times of stuff. But the 90s had a lot of great movies in there and a lot of
Absolutely.
fun movies. I mean, the 90s, in my opinion, when it came to comedies, was owned by Jim Carrey, Adam Sandler, and Chris Farley.
Yeah. And the man and that other guy behind you there too. Mike Myers did a lot.
And I mean, the only thing Mike Myers did for me was Austin Powers.
Really? Have you seen So I Married an Axe Murderer?
Didn't like it.
Really? Oh man, I loved it.
Didn't really like it.
I'll tell you what I loved about that movie was you got to see the birth of all of the characters that are in Austin Powers.
Yeah,
because like if you watch that one, you can see everybody. Because he's like, remember at one point he asked her, he said, "What have you done? That's like, what's the most heinous thing you've ever done? Like so evil, it's not even evil, it's evil." I just couldn't get into it, man. It's like watching and there's some Jim Carrey movies I didn't care for. Like I didn't care for Cable Man. I was not a big fan of The Mask either. Taste. Now The Mask is probably the one that I didn't like. If I had to say I didn't like a Jim Carrey movie, it would be The Mask.
Would that be his Rhinestone?
I wouldn't go. I don't know if I'd go that far.
I mean, because it was successful. So I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of hard to pick a Rhinestone for him because all his movies were pretty much successful.
Yeah, and they were all pretty good.
Now, if I was going to go with a Rhinestone movie of his, it would be the one where he was all serious in. Sunshine of the Eternal Mind or something.
Don't you dare! Sunshine.
I did it.
It's Eternal Sunshine on the Spotless Mind, and that is a fabulous movie.
I hated on it. I did it. I'll do it again. I'll do it again. I'll do it. I'll do it again. See,
you're coming deep with that one, Shrek. You're coming real deep.
I'm sorry, man.
I thought you was going to say the Truman Show. I was going to get upset.
That's just as bad.
Truman Show. Oh my God! You know what? You, sir, have just made the list. I don't have no. Thank you, because I don't have no button. I got to get me a button.
Sorry, man. I mean, just when I think of Jim Carrey, I want straight up comedy. It's all I want.
Yeah, man.
I don't want him coming out with a machine gun like he's Rambo.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Or anything like that. I don't want him being dead serious to the camera and not trying to be funny.
Oh man, I love it. I love this
series. It's like Leslie Nielsen, if you remember Leslie Nielsen from the Naked Gun movies.
Yeah.
He did some serious work in the past.
Right.
Drama.
I don't know it though.
I don't either. I could never see him in a serious drama.
Right.
I mean, surely they can't be serious,
The same goes for Mike, and the same goes for Chris, and the same goes for Adam Sandler. But man, I'm gonna tell you right now, Reign Over Me is one of the greatest movies I've ever seen, man.
And I don't even know who it is.
It's Adam Sandler and Don Cheadle, and what it is his he's dealing with survivor's guilt. He's all messed up, man. It's right after 9/11 happened. He lost his wife, his wife and his daughter, and the dog. All died in 9/11, and he's like, it's about him. He was this brilliant doctor or lawyer, I can't remember which, and he's just in this funk, living by himself, and he keeps remodeling his kitchen over and over and over. Every time he finishes, he starts remodeling it again, because that's what they were doing when she died. And Don Cheadle is his friend; they went to college together, and he starts hanging out with him and on. There's not a thing in it funny, and it is one of the most amazing things that Adam Sandler's ever done.
I don't know. There's just some things I expect out of certain stars, and that's all I want to see.
Yeah, I understand that.
I only want to see comedy. I mean, the closest thing to a non-comedy, and it was still a comedy, where you had a little bit of seriousness to it at some point, it was Big Daddy, to me.
Yeah, and I love Big Daddy.
Him trying to keep the kid, and that was it for me. Otherwise, it just was not good for me.
That was a great movie, though. Oh, Frankenstein. What you want to eat, Frankenstein? 30 packs of ketchup.
Yeah. But we have picked not necessarily our top 5 comedies, but we have picked 5 comedies in the 90s that we find very funny. That we are saying 5 of our favorite comedies of the 90s.
Yeah, this is 5 of our favorite, not the 5 greatest or the 5 most significant or anything like that. Just
not even our 5 favorite, exactly, for sure.
Well, yeah, probably not, really.
It's just 5 movies that we find funny.
Yeah.
Because it's so hard. You take about 50 movies and narrow it down to 5. Let's hear what it is.
Seriously.
That's hard to do. Very hard to do.
Yeah,
I mean, I
it's
left
hard
out.
to come up with a top 5 list of favorite comedies of any genre, any decade.
I left out so many movies that I heard him reading off his starter list. I'm like, how did I forget that one? I'm like, my cousin Vinny. I love my cousin Vinny. Why didn't I think
Right.
of that one? And so I mean, it's so many funny stuff.
Right.
That being said, do you
So
go first this week, or should I go first this week?
let's do something fun then. Since you told them about my list, let's do something fun. I'm gonna read off my list real quick, and then you start us off. Does that sound cool? So
You read off the list, and then I'll start off
we'll
with my first one.
This is the list, people. That and I did this while I was conducting. See, this is something beautiful about doing our podcast is for research for episodes, we get to watch movies and check out toys and do all kind of
life.
Yeah, it's hard life, man. Hard life. So while I was doing some research for another episode, I was I just brainstorming my comedies. So this is my list of what I had to narrow down to 5, and y'all can decide how easy this was. So we got kick it off real fast. Kindergarten Cop, City Slickers, My Cousin Vinny, Wayne's World, Coneheads, Cool Runnings, Dazed and Confused, Grumpy Old Men, Miss Doubtfire, Mallrats, Robin Hood Men in Tights, Ace Ventura, The Big Hit, Clerks, The Cowboy Way, The Waterboy, Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, Beavis and Butthead, Big Daddy, which you just mentioned, Jingle All the Way, Dogma, and Austin Powers. And that's just what I brainstormed off the top of my head, like what Chris was talking about. There's so many more that I didn't even bring up. So all right. Well, let's start with you, Christopher.
Well, my first one, like I said, the decade was owned by Jim Carrey, Chris Farley, and Adam Sandler. But I'm going to start off with a Jim Carrey movie, and he's got. I mean, I had so much difficulty choosing one Jim Carrey movie that I wanted to go with. I settled for Dumb and Dumber because I like the stupid comedies. Comedies. I mean, Love, Naked Gun, Airplane, things like that. The stupid comedies. And Dumb and Dumber to me is just a stupid, silly comedy.
It is a stupid comedy.
Their characters are so crazy. This movie came out December 18th, 1994. Budgeted for $17 million. Okay. Mm-hmm. Grossed worldwide $247,290,327.
Crazy.
This movie, I mean, these two guys, what a pair. I mean, you put them together.
Yeah, Jeff Daniels, and it's cool too, the friendship that they cultivated off of making those movies too. Those guys are like best friends now. Jeff Daniels, he was on one of the late night shows, Kimmel or the other one, the other Jimmy, Fallon. He was on Jimmy Fallon, and he was sitting there talking, and they were talking about what's it like to work with Jim Carrey, man. What you think about him? Jim's great. Jim's a genius. Jim is a comedic genius. I mean, he is. You wouldn't believe. I mean, just how great this guy is. Then all of a sudden, from the curtains back here, out walks Jim Carrey. Right.
So they ended up having both of them for an interview.
What's crazy about it too is it took Jeff Daniels and put him in a place where we don't think of Jeff Daniels being either. Jeff Daniels never been a comedic actor, and he talked about that too. He elevated Jeff to this dude. Jeff was hilarious in those movies. And
yes.
Before that, we had Jeff he was in Pleasantville. Was that before or after? I don't remember, but he was in Pleasantville with Tobey Maguire and somebody else's old movie. Quite a few other things where he just never was a comedic type person, and then Dumb and Dumber just took him, and man, they exploded.
Yeah. It elevated him. I mean, it's crazy. It's some of the fun trivia things about it. It says when Harry and Lloyd are in the car, Lloyd asks Harry if he wants to hear the most annoying sound in the world.
Right?
Yeah. This was not yes, this was not originally in the script. He said, they say, and you can tell by the look on Jeff Daniels' face in the movie. They left it in.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch it and don't pay attention to Jim Carrey who's talking, but look at Jeff Daniels. When he starts doing it, they're saying, look at his face, and you can tell it was not meant to be. That was not a part of the actual script and everything.
Right. Well, I think too that I feel like I read or heard somewhere Jim Carrey or someone associated with the movie talking about too that remember how It seemed like every 5 minutes he was going to spray some breath freshener, but it was
Yeah, it goes the other way.
like he really did that accidentally one time, and then like they just kept it in the movie, and then they made a bit out of it to him spraying it off to the side of his mouth.
Mm-hmm. That's funny.
These are so funny.
It says here, according to the Farrelly brothers, who made the movie, the Farrelly brothers, Jeff Daniels wasn't wanted for the film, but Jim Carrey wanted him in it. In order to ensure a no from him, they offered Daniels $50,000 for the role. They said he accepted it without any hesitation, nor did he attempt to negotiate. Despite insistence from his agent, the film would kill his career. By 1994, the film was Daniels' most successful film ever.
Ain't that crazy? That's something else.
It is very crazy. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Definitive perspective. No, not that one.
Yeah, their charisma too, and then coming back for a second one too. Like they did a second one too.
It says here Jeff Daniels claimed he was at a golf course one day when Clint Eastwood told him he had just seen the movie. Daniels braced himself for a negative reaction, but to his surprise, Eastwood wanted to tell Daniels that the bathroom scene had happened to him once when he was on a date.
Oh my God.
Daniels later co-starred with Eastwood in Blood Work in 2002, which was a good movie too, by the way. Mm-hmm. If you haven't seen it, that is. When the film went to the top of the U.S. box office, it gave Jim Carrey the distinction of being the first actor to have 3 films go straight to number 1 in 1 year. The other 2 films, The Mask and Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Yeah.
So,
heck yeah.
A lot of good stuff. There's so much more you can go on about this movie, but we'll be all night with it. What's your first movie there that you settled for? I have your long laundry list of stuff. What did you take?
My first one, I think we're just going to go ahead and keep going with The King. And I'll pull out my Ace Ventura. Ace Ventura, I had to go with it because, dude, I am a Jim Carrey fan, like huge. Like the only people to me that are, as far as movies are concerned, the only people that are funnier to me are Robin Williams and Billy Crystal, and maybe Eddie. And I'll throw Eddie in there. To me, he's in a class with those guys, just upper echelon. Nobody touches him. And of course, Adam Sandler's up there too. But I really don't even feel like Adam is as funny as those guys, And Adam's one of my favorites. So being
Adam Sandler is one of those unique things. You have to have a certain like for his kind of comedy.
I agree with you 100%. But me growing up too, being I loved comedy. I grew up on it and everything else. So I've been watching Jim Carrey ever since he was Fire Marshal Bill.
Let me show you something.
And then he was doing Vera. Hi, I'm Vera.
Vera DeMilo.
Vera DeMilo. I remember his stand-up where he came out, and this dude was just crazy. He's got a stand-up, if you ever want to watch, it's called Rubber Face. And it's old, man. It's just kind of like a montage of things that he used to do. He was in the Comedy Factory or the Comedy Bar.
Did you see him on Mad TV doing Vanilla Ice?
That was one of the greatest things that ever happened. He said, I told everybody he got stabbed in the butt. Come to find out, it was a toilet paper cut. Yeah. But, yeah, man. So he did this one bit where he's like, this is my impression of a St. Bernard. And he took a big mouthful of water and went, woof, out and just like all out into the crowd. So, yeah, Jim, that's my guy, man. When Ace Ventura came out, holy cow. We were all just... when we were getting ready for this, a little behind the scenes moment, when we were getting ready for this, we had the thing opened up and everything was ready. So we had our audio going, and I was over here getting ready. So I'm like, hey, ho, pretty chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, we love you. Hey, so I was over here doing that stuff, man. Me and this girl I grew up with, Misty Sinek, I'd walk in the door and act like I punched her, and she'd spin, and I'd throw her up on my shoulders, and we'd walk around doing the thing like you did with Mr. Malopoli in either the first or second one. I don't remember which movie that was.
That's the second one.
Okay, yeah. So we're doing that with him. So, and that's another reason I said
he's treating him like an animal. He's treating him like he's a stole from an animal.
Yeah, he's a stole.
Yeah.
He's a mink stole. Like, whoa. Laces out, man. People say that, dude. We still quote that movie too. That's another thing, So that one's great. Had Tone Loc in it as Emilio. The actual Dan Marino was in it.
Courtney Cox was in it.
Dude, Courtney Cox. I'll tell you something funny too. Oh, Udo Kier was in it too. And what Udo Kier is somebody that I absolutely love in Blade. He was an elder vampire in the Blade movie. So just a little quick cross reference on that. He's been in a bunch of other stuff too. But what I found out that was hilarious, or what I think that was hilarious about the Dan Marino thing was I think it was Little Nicky. That is what it was. It was either Dan Marino or it was Dan Marino. He said he's trying to sell his soul for a Super Bowl ring. So and the devil's like, I think it was Harvey Keitel played the devil in Little Nicky, which was another Adam Sandler movie. And he's like, he said you gave Namath one. Talking about Joe Namath. He's like, he said, man, Namath was coming here anyway, man. I just can't do it. You're too nice of a guy. I thought that was a funny cross reference when I seen all those movies. But yeah, man, Ace Ventura totally up there, man. And Jim Carrey's a king, dude. That dude, I seen a comedic genius, and just this guy, man. He don't even need makeup half the time. The way he can do all this weird stuff with his face and going on to do the Grinch. Who else could do the Grinch, man?
I almost chose Ace Ventura instead of Dumb and Dumber. I was very close to that,
right?
But I didn't do it. But the reason why is because I couldn't make up my mind.
Yeah, it did real well in the box office too. We like to throw around box office numbers around here too, but we budgeted an estimated $15 million, and we grossed worldwide overall $107,217,000, despite only earning $12 million its opening week. So it opening weekend it did meh, which I mean $12 million is nothing to sneeze at, but I mean when you consider a box office, I mean that's a blockbuster,
Yeah.
And when you consider that, usually the open weekend is much higher. So this is one of those that it came out, some people went to see it, and then everybody's like, "Dude, you got to see this movie!" And then it was just it exploded.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
I remember when it first came out, I told a buddy of mine I really didn't want to watch it because it just looked like it was too stupid. There's stupid humor, then there's just stupid. And
yeah,
I gave in and went and watched it, and I was glad that I did. I laughed till I cried.
Yeah, it
was something else.
He goes rolling and flipping over the doggone. That's the those of y'all that haven't seen it. That's the chitty bang bang thing that.
Yeah.
In the second one, when he goes to park the car and he goes flipping in circles. So
the first one was like a glove.
Yeah, like a glove. The first one was all set in Florida, and now we're trying to. There's a murder, wasn't it? And they're trying to miss a Super Bowl ring, and I don't remember.
No, there was a missing mascot. That's why they brought in a pet detective.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's why they brought a pet detective.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one. Let's see. That the funny thing about that one. That was the one where he was like,
yes, that one.
It's completely soundproof, but you knew with it being Jim Carrey, it wasn't. You knew that was Jim standing going, Right. But anyway, we can sit around and talk about it. We can do a whole episode on Jim. What is your number two?
Number two. I'm gonna play you a little something from this, and this is my number two here.
All right.
The veins, Frank the veins,
Frank the veins.
I did this to you earlier. You were like, "What is that, Franklin?" But he say Franklin Baines.
Yeah,
yes, he did. Franklin Baines. Most people hear that and probably get it right away. You might not remember, but this is There's Something About Mary. This is Mary's brother, who is handicapped, and he doesn't talk very well, basically. So let's see. Have you seen my baseball? He's always saying, "Have you seen my baseball?" And Franklin Baines. Is some of the most memorable stuff he's done in it. But I mean, he had a couple other funny spots in there that was hilarious too. I had to watch the movie, but Something About Mary. Even when I first saw the preview, I thought I got to go watch this movie. It looked too funny to not want to go watch. And of course, Cameron Diaz. Diaz, right?
Yep.
Playing Mary. I wasn't a huge fan of Ben Stiller. But
I say a lot of people
this
say
movie
that,
was him. This movie was him.
It kills me how many people say that, because it's like, I love Ben Stiller, dude.
But it's not all of his comedy. All of his comedy is not great. He's got some good stuff, but Zoolander, come on.
Are you? No
Zoolander.
Come on,
Zoolanders, man.
Zoolander is his best ever, dude.
Look, that's like going back to Adam Sandler. Look, it's like going back to Adam Sandler, and you're saying Zohan.
Oh, the Zohan. The Zohan was terrible.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm giving you Zohan as an example. Zoolander is just as bad as Zohan.
We gotta disagree on this one, man. The Zoolander, that is one of the funniest damn movies I've ever. This just goes to show that really, really ridiculously good-looking people can't also not to die in a freak gasoline accident.
Hold on. I have to do something for you real quick. Okay, hold on.
Do it.
Okay, I just muted Travis. He can't do nothing now. He's not allowed to speak at this point. He's laughing. I can see him in the background, but he's not speaking right now because I got him muted because he likes.
That goes both ways. Ha ha ha! That just goes to show that Chris didn't think I was a good Googleizer. I bet he thought I didn't even know what a googly was.
Great googly boogly.
Okay. Enough debating.
Something about Mary. July 15th, 1998. Great summer blockbuster hit.
Hilarious.
This movie had a $23 million estimated budget. Guess how much money it grossed worldwide?
What did it get?
$369,884,651.
Jeez, dude.
This is, man.
But in the 90s, man, that was one of those movies, dude, that like everybody was talking about it. Everybody saw it. When is this hair gel? Like if you know, buddy. That was Oh, and getting the zipper. Oh, the zipper and dude.
But what about Harlan Black and his great idea he had in this movie for 8-minute abs?
8-minute abs.
Yeah, he said, "You heard about this thing, the 8-minute abs?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." The exercise video. He says, "Yeah, well, this is gonna blow right out of the water." He says, "Listen to this: 7-minute abs." Okay, he says, "Right, yes, okay, I see where you're going." He says, "Think about it. You walk in the video store, you see 8-minute abs sitting there. There's a 7-minute ab sitting right next to it. Which one do you want to do?"
Which one do you want to do? I guess I want 7 minutes, buddy.
Take less time. This is great. The movie itself, like I said, it was just one of the funniest things for me, and that's what brought me into Ben Stiller and liking some of his stuff. Because even after that, right there, he went on to do one with Jennifer Aniston. Along Came Polly. That's it right there.
Great.
That was hilarious at that point too.
Now that was the one that had his real daddy in it too, right? Where he went and met Jennifer Aniston on the vacation or whatever. He was with the girl that they was going to get married, or he had just got married. Am I thinking of the right one? I think
he was a risk assessor,
right?
For a job, and I think he was about to get married, or I don't think the marriage. I don't think that the wedding went through.
Which one was Along Came Polly?
I know Jennifer Aniston is this girl that I think he had liked beforehand, and I don't know if he went to school with her or not. Yeah, I think he had liked her beforehand, and she's in so many different things that he's into, like Indian food. Like Indian food makes him sick, but she wants to go eat Indian food, so they go eat Indian food. And of course, it tears his stomach up,
Right. Okay, so
he's sweating like crazy.
Oh my God, this is the one. Oh, dude, do you remember Roxanne? It was Missy, a girl that Missy Powell played Roxanne. She was fighting some chick in the daggone bathroom. She was talking about the Tybo. So she was like, do you remember that?
Yes.
But that's her, but it wasn't in that movie. That was in That was in a Queen Latifah movie with had Eugene Levy. He was like, "Tell her the cool points is all out the window." She got me all twisted up
I
in the
can't.
game. It had
I can't think of the name of it.
Steve Martin was in it, but it had her in it, Missy Powell. She was doing the Tybo. So her and Queen Latifah fighting in the daggum. Oh man, that was good. This might not be the one that I'm thinking about, but the one that I was thinking about, he met her on vacation. He had like his wife with him or something. He got stung by a jellyfish and she peed on him in front of all these kids and stuff.
Yeah. Do you remember now when it comes to something about Mary? What was it? They had this one guy who was pretending to be British, I think, too. His accent, he was pretending to be British, and he was a smart college guy who was also there was something where he was handicapped in some way, like a physical handicap. He couldn't walk right. Tucker, he had the crutches or whatever he walked with.
Yes,
It's like all of them were after her. They were all trying to chase Mary, including the guy, the Matt Dillon, he sent down to investigate, to find her or whatever, to see where she was going.
That dude never ages. Good night. He must be Dick Clark's grandson or something.
I don't know. He looks like he still did from Outsiders. Yeah.
How about Keith David was her dad?
Yes. And you're in there, and you got Marky Post plays her mom, Keith David plays her dad. You get the point where he's in the bathroom in there, and he's staring out the window at this bird on the branch, and not realizing beyond that was Mary getting ready in her room in the front of her window. And she screams and he screams. He tries to zip his pants up real quick and catches his junk in his zipper. and he screams bloody murder. And then the parents are trying to come in there and they're trying
That's what I was talking about, the zipper earlier. That was
the funniest part of the whole movie. She comes there, she sprays Bactine on it. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And she's gonna they're gonna have to fix it. So the only way they can do it is to go in reverse. And he don't want him to do it. And the father looks at it, Keith David, he goes, "How did you do that?" He goes, how'd you get the beans above the frank?
How'd you get the beans above the frank? That's hilarious.
Frank the beans.
There you go. That's the part. That's the part. You hear him outside the door. He's like, "Frank the beans.
How'd you get the beans above the frank? Frank the beans.
How'd you get the beans above the frank?"
Marky Post. What Marky Post on Night Court?
Yes, she was Christine Sullivan on Night Court.
Yeah,
that was my favorite thing.
Young, I was slightly in love with her when I was younger. When I was a little boy. When I was just a boy.
We had her first in Fall Guy.
Yeah. Okay.
She played the lady who was doing the bounty, putting the bounties out for Cole to go get. Then we see her in Night Court. Then she did Hearts of Fire with John Ritter, I believe it was.
Yup.
That was good as well. But moving right along here, let's go ahead and give us your next one.
My next one, I'm gonna go with Clerks, man. Good old Kevin Smith. It was Kevin Smith's first movie. I really wanted to do Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, but that was 2001, so it was right out of my timeline. Also, I love Dogma. I love Chasing Amy. I love Mallrats. I love all of them, but Clerks is the one that started them all, so that's why I went with Clerks. And dude, the movie's just hilarious. Kevin Smith is another comedic genius. It doesn't matter if he's in the movie or not. If he's involved in it, it's about to be funny or it's about to be really far out. Like Red State. Red State was an amazing movie, but you would never think, knowing Kevin Smith, that he did Red State. But Clerks is just a couple dudes hanging out they work at a gas station, and you got Jay and Silent Bob hanging out outside the gas station, and people coming
and the way they filmed it, just a regular handheld camcorder.
Just plain on handheld camera, and in black and white. Who would have thought that black and white would have actually did something? And the thing about it as well was it really didn't do too good. It did, but it didn't. You know what I'm saying? Because they just shot it with a handheld hand camera, and there's just a couple of guys. So they made this movie for $27,000. That's how much they made that movie for. So, and they grossed worldwide $3 million. Now, if you got 27,000, $3 million is pretty good.
I would say so.
But when we're talking about movies, $3 million really ain't nothing. as far as what you look at other things grossing. But that was able to kickstart Kevin's career, get him moving on other projects, bringing in the likes of, he had Jason Mewes that was in it. And like I said, this one was mostly just a lot of his friends, man. Brian O'Halloran with Dante, Jason Mewes. We all know that him and Jason are really tight. Jason, of course, is Jay from Jay and Silent Bob.
Right.
He's helped that dude out with his addiction and abuse problems over the years. And Jeff Anderson is Randall, and so kind of like what Adam Sandler did, but Adam Sandler had a little more pull and weight behind him and a little more budget. He just brought in a bunch of his friends.
Yeah.
And
all his early movies was him and his friends too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same thing. Because when it comes to like Clerks, after Clerks, if you watch Mallrats, all the same people in Mallrats.
Yep. And then he ended up befriending. He ended up befriending. Oh, come on, man. Batman, not the newest one. Ben Affleck. My brain.
Oh yeah, Ben Affleck.
Drawing a blank. He ended up befriending Ben Affleck. They actually became friends in real life, and then Ben introduced him to Matt. So then Ben and Matt are jumping in doing movies. They're doing like cameos, and then they did a whole movie, Dogma. Dogma is one of my favorite movies ever. And he had Sarah. Oh, come on, you ought to know. What's her name? Sarah, not McLaughlin. That's
Alanis.
Alanis Morissette, not Sarah. Alanis Morissette. Thank you. He had Alanis Morissette play God in Dogma, so that was amazing. So yeah, but I mean, it became a cult classic too. This is a true cult classic. Like there was just this little tiny movie that nobody knew about really, and then it just grew and grew and grew and grew, and it afforded him the money to move forward with his other projects, and then he just gained more and more notoriety until now it's like it's Kevin Smith, dude. Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
He's got his own comic book chain,
a show about it.
Yeah, and a show about it. He went from making these little comedy movies to making, actually pulling in there's real substance to these things. They talk about real human issues too, like Chasing Amy. You just mentioned Chasing Amy's like, that's actually a kind of a deep movie, man.
I watched it. The only thing that's memorable to me in that whole movie is the comic book convention.
Oh, really?
That's the only thing that stands out to me I've seen it. I didn't have a problem with it, but that's the only thing that stands out to me was the comic book convention.
I thought it was great because Amy. So in Chasing Amy, Amy's just this unavailable bisexual chick that Ben Affleck is in love with, and they go, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so funny too because all of his movies intertwine and reference one another too. So you're sitting here watching. I think it may have been Mallrats or it may have been Jay and Silent Bob. Where he's like, you're always telling that stupid Amy story. Like, come on, talk, Tubby. It's like, Jay and Silent Bob are definitely my favorite thing he's ever done. But heck yeah, man. Clerks, like you said, Clerks started it all, and it was just simple. And most of his movies are like that. Mallrats is like that. Chasing Amy's like that. Just kind of simple, straightforward.
Same type of humor, basically.
Pure humor, pure person humor, and kind of few things thrown in. You know what I mean? Like what I said a while ago. There's a couple like little storylines zigzag in and out, but yeah. So that's my number.
Your number 3. That was that 2 or 3 for you?
That
was your second one.
I was 2
because I went first today, so it was your second.
Yeah,
one.
So we need to know what your number 3 is now.
Well, I started out with Dumb and Dumber. I jumped over to Something About Mary.
Mm-hmm.
We're now going to settle into the 90s version of Porky's.
Oh, this has to be American
Pie.
I do it. Heck yeah.
We're going with American Pie.
I would agree with that.
Jason Biggs, Sean William Scott, Allison Hannigan. Oh my gosh, what was the other? Chris Klein.
Jessica. Was it Jessica? It's not Jessica. It is Jessica.
There was a Jessica in it. She played she was a friend of the blonde girl.
She was Nadia, wasn't she?
No, Nadia was played by Elizabeth
Not that's Jessica.
something. Elizabeth something.
Elizabeth. She was Boo Boo Kitty in
Yeah.
That's what I just immediately thought of her.
Yes. Do you know it took 4 tries?
Shannon Elizabeth.
That's it. It took 4 tries for this film to get an R rating instead of an NC-17.
Right. Yeah.
4 tries. And if you've ever seen the movie, you understand probably most likely why it was so.
And if you've ever seen the uncut movie, if you ever seen the uncut version with no rating,
it was so borderline on a lot of stuff. They got away with things. It was so crazy. Allison Hannigan.
The show.
When you see Allison Hannigan for this, she went to her callback audition really having to pee, it said. She ran to the bathroom and her name was called right after she got out. And she went in without having calmed down. So she read the part really quirky and with an over amount of energy. She credits that to getting her the part because that's exactly how her character was in the movie.
Right. Yeah.
Over energetic, real quirky, like this one time at band camp.
Right.
And
everybody fell in love with her too.
Yeah, she was very lovable. I mean, everybody thought she was one of the better kids. You got Nadia, which everybody was like, oh, it's a hot girl. Then you got the blonde girl who was with the other guy whose name I can never remember because he didn't do anything very much big after that.
Well, it was funny to me too how, with me, the age that I was at this time, it's funny to me how quote unquote unknown she was because she was huge as Willow on Buffy.
On Buffy, yeah.
So a lot of us were already in love with her from Buffy, and she was not really like that, but it's like you can still see like you just know that she'd be such a cool chick to hang out with, and then to leave that and go forward onto How I Met Your Mother and how she was in there. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, she's got to be a cool chick to hang out with.
Go ahead. This movie, $11 million estimated budget, grossed $235,483,000 worldwide.
Yeah, should have been more than that. I think those numbers are off.
I don't know. It brought in quite a bit of money. The second one might have done better. You get these great group of guys that are friends. The character names: Jim, Oz, Finch, Kevin,
Stifler's mom.
Stifler's mom. Yes. What's that girl's name though?
Vicky.
Tara Reid played the girl that I was thinking of a while ago. Couldn't get her name out.
Vicky.
She was Vicky, and Jessica was Natasha Lyon.
Yeah,
that's who you were thinking of earlier.
Yeah, Natasha Lyon. To me, Stifler was like the funniest thing about those movies too, dude.
Oh my gosh!
Stifler was so hilarious.
Stifler
and Eugene Levy, the way Eugene Levy would come in and talk to him, like anything you put Eugene Levy in something, he is gonna steal it.
It says in the trivia thing that they gave him leeway to be just very at the moment when he was having the talk with Jim in the bedroom. Mm-hmm. He had to come in there when he found out about the sock incident and the TV and the pie and
right,
and all this stuff. And he's having a talk with him, about his coming of age and kids becoming sexual and stuff like that.
And the way
he brought in a magazine with him.
His voice is he's so hilarious because his voice is just.
And it's perfectly natural, Jim.
Yeah, he's monotone with it.
Perfectly natural to be curious of how the female body works,
right.
And your mother and I, back when we were young, he's like, no, I don't want to hear this.
Yeah, that movie was amazing.
American Pie, and that set off a trilogy, of course, like most everything else does these days. Now, that's also spun off several other American Pie type things.
It did.
American Pie Band Camp, American Pie Beta House, American Pie Girls Rule,
Beer Fest or Oktoberfest or something.
No, those were the people that did Super Troopers. It's different.
I thought there was a American Pie Beer Fest or something.
No.
No.
Not that I'm aware of. Beer Fest was the thing that the Super Trooper guys did.
Oh, okay. Well, my fault.
Your fault. I messed up last time. It's your turn this time.
Yeah.
So what is more memorable when you think of American Pie? Is it Jim and the apple pie because they told him that getting to second base was like warm apple pie?
Like, yep.
Or is it more finding out that Finch has hooked up with Stifler's mom?
That's gonna be. I think Fitch and Stifler's mom, because that became such an overarch in all the movies from then on out.
Yes.
Yeah, Fitch and Stifler's mom.
Stifler looks at him and calls him. Stifler looks at Finch and calls him a bad name. We can't really say because we are
right.
The show, but he calls
it was
him
the Naked Mile that I was thinking of. It was the Naked Mile that I was thinking of because I was thinking, yeah, I think it was the Naked Mile I was thinking of.
Okay.
When I was talking about the Beer Fest or something.
Yeah. Oh, what is your next one?
My next one is going to have to be, we're going to flop back over to Adam Sandler. And I'm not going to pick like his early one. I'm actually going to pick The Water Boy because I had to throw Adam in there because like we were talking about, even with him being an acquired taste, to me, like he was one of the kings of the 90s. Water sucks. It really, really sucks. But he was one of the kings of the 90s, man, for sure. With Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, the Water Boy, Big Daddy, Little Nicky. Like, I mean, just he dropped movie after movie, and they were all just hilarious. But for me, Water Boy was probably the most funny to me.
Yeah.
The Vicky Valancourt and the Medulla Oblongata and Henry
Medulla Oblongata.
Yeah,
my mama says that alligators is ornery because they have all their teeth, but they ain't got no toothbrush.
And then Farmer Fran, one of my favorite things. I do that today. I walk up like my coworkers and stuff, and I'm showing how to do something on CNC, or I'll be helping one of the younger cats out of something. I walk up, pat him on the shoulder, and be like, "Don't worry, send me paper." Because that's the interpretation for Farmer Johnny said, "Don't worry, it's in the playbook. So as long as you read the playbook, you okay."
Yeah.
Don't worry, send me paper. He come out there, he's skilly old dude. I love that dude. He was Chet in Boy Meets World. He was Sean's dad. Oh, Blake Clark was the name.
Never saw that. Never watched that show.
What?
Yeah, never was. I wasn't an ABC. I wasn't an ABC kind of guy.
Right.
Yeah, I know some of the shows, but I wasn't an ABC kind of guy for the most part.
Yep. Boy Meets World. I was a little older when I started watching Boy Meets World, but it was one of those things where, you know what I mean? I didn't really get to do much until I was 18. It was a fight with my parents, kind of. You mind till you're 18. So a lot of times I was sitting at the house, doing stuff I still wasn't supposed to be doing, but I was at the house. So I got to watch a lot of Friday night stuff. But anyway, yeah. It budgeted estimated $23 million, and it grossed $185,991,646. And it's another one where it's just got everybody in it. Everybody that he had with him, Dante. Well, I said Dante earlier, but this dude's real name is Dante, and he plays the character he plays in Grandma's Boy, which if you hadn't seen Grandma's Boy and you're a nerd at all, you need to watch Grandma's Boy. We played Dante the weed dealer, but his real name is Peter Dante. It's him and Jonathan Lugran. I think those two guys are some of his best friends, and they've been in like every single movie. So like if you've seen Little Nicky, Dante would be the one that was like, he was like, "Oh my God, Chicago rocks!" He's like, "I put a fat sack of reefer in the mix to spice things up a little bit." So that's Dante, and then the dude in the Water Boy, the dude with the cross eye, he's like, "Yeah, you're the only one of us could have passed that test, Bobby Boucher." Yeah. That's Jonathan. But yeah, man, it's got.
What about in all the Adam?
Rob Schneider. Rob Schneider's in every one of his movies.
That's what I was going to say. What about in all the movies where Rob Schneider pops up yelling, "You can do it" or something?
Yeah, I think that's the movie that started that, wasn't it? Was that the movie that started?
It was, and after that, even like in The Longest Yard, he's in the crowd, The Longest Yard, going, "You can do it." Party in the showers for everybody tonight.
Yeah, every single movie. And Kathy Bates, man, how do you get Kathy Bates to be your mama? That's awesome. Because Kathy Bates to me is like, dude, she's super cool. She was on a show. I can't remember the name of it. She had a dispensary in California, and that was what the show was about. And this is what led to, I don't know if you know this or not, but she was on an episode of Snoop Dogg's podcast, Blazing with Snoop Dogg. So Kathy Bates, Misery, what's her name? Yeah. Well, she wasn't Misery. She's from Misery. Misery was the book character. But Kathy Bates smokes hella weed for real. And I didn't know this until a couple of years ago. So I'm like, what? Mind-boggling. But yeah, hers is mama. That foosball is the devil.
Foosball is the devil.
Yeah. So that brings us to number 4, or is it number 3? You went first. So
for me, this would be number 4. And my mama says my mama says that I should pick Tommy. That I should pick Tommy Boy.
Tommy Boy instead of Water Boy.
That's right.
Okay.
You went Water Boy, I went Tommy Boy. I told you Chris Farley was one of the guys for me in the 90s that really ruled the roost. And him and David Spade together were gold.
Oh my God, yeah. Tommy Boy.
They had two great movies together, and if Chris Farley hadn't died, they would have had 5 or 6 probably.
Absolutely. I believe that.
But you had Tommy Boy and Black Sheep, and both were equally as funny. But I went with Tommy Boy because it was the first one of the two. Mm-hmm. And it had so many parts in it that just made me laugh. I mean, him doing the fat guy in the little coat routine, that's from something from Saturday Night Live they did with each other behind the scenes and everything for his little joke. Mm-hmm. There is a line from the movie where he's telling David Spade's character, Richard, he goes, "Hey, Richard, I'm back from college." He goes, "I'm a college graduate." He goes, "I heard." He goes, "Yeah. I was there for 7 years." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, no, wait." He goes, "I was there for 7 years." He goes, "Yeah, they called them doctors, Tommy."
Yeah.
Because you're in there for that long.
Right.
And the movie 50 First Dates, the SNL people were known for referencing each other basically in a lot of their movies, or referencing their past movies as well. But in the movie 50 First Dates, which is an Adam Sandler movie, there's a reference to Callahan Institute, which is funded out of Sandusky, Ohio, by T.B. Callahan.
50 First Dates is a real special movie to me. It's the very first movie that my current wife and I watched on her couch when we were dating. Very first movie we watched together, 50 First Dates.
That was a very good movie. Did you forget about it the next week and make her watch it again?
Yeah.
And then the next week?
Probably did that for about 6 years.
The movie was great. You had, Chris Farley. Who was it? Was it Brian Dennehy who played his father?
Yeah, sure enough.
David Spade in there. This movie had
Dan Aykroyd was in there.
Yes. Zelensky. And we have this little tidbit here that always made me laugh when I heard it.
Hey, Gilligan, did you eat the skipper?
You better pray to the God of city punks that this wind doesn't pick up, because I'll come over there and jam an oar up their ass.
There's more to that scene than that.
Right.
But, I mean, I didn't want to play the whole thing out there.
That reminds me of the part he talking about jamming an oar up his butt. He said, what was it? Said I can get a good look at a T-bone.
Yeah.
I get a good look at a T-bone sticking my heads up a bull's butt, but I'd rather take a butcher's word for it.
That's what his father said.
Yeah.
And he messed it up. He tried to say it to someone. He said, "I tell you what, I can get a good look at a T-bone by sticking my head up the butcher's butt." But I'd rather
that's what it was.
I mean, I could okay, there's a butcher and he sticks his head in the cow's butt.
Yeah.
No, that's not it either. You know what? Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Heck
that's
yeah.
So this is a real funny one for me.
I'd also have
Yeah,
Bo Derek in it though. But who
Bo
does she
Derek
play?
was in it. She plays the woman that his dad is going to marry, and his dad tells him, he says, "Cover your eyes, son. I'm going to show you something." And he shows him, and he says, "Open your eyes," and it's her in her bikini, and he goes, "Oh, is that for me?" He says, "No, Tommy boy, that's for me." He goes, "Wow, Dad, she's a perfect 10."
Yeah.
Reference to 10, but looks like we're getting actually fairly close time here for the show. So, what's your fifth one you got?
My fifth one, or no, it'd be my fourth one.
Oh, actually, that's what I said. The fourth or fifth one. Your fourth one, right?
Yep, my fourth one, because you just did your fourth one.
Right. I have a fifth one, and you get your fifth one. Go ahead, your fourth one.
Here's my fourth one. I'm on. I'm gonna go ahead and go with The Cowboy Way. This movie is, oh my god, this movie is absolutely hilarious. It's got Woody Harrelson and Kiefer Sutherland in it as Pepper and Sonny, and they're going to lose the ranch, I think, and they head out to North. No. They got a friend who works on the ranch. His daughter was kidnapped. She was smuggled or kidnapped over here to the United States. And anyway, Sonny and Pepper got to go to North Carolina to find her. Sonny and Pepper is from New Mexico. And oh my God, dude, this is one of have you ever seen this movie?
Yes, I was going to tell you at first. Okay. I've never heard of this movie when you gave it the title, because the Cowboy Way did not ring a bell. When you said the two names, I was like, "Oh, that movie."
Yeah, Sonny and Pepper. Like, he come out naked. He put his cowboy hat over his thing. He let go and it hung there. He's like, "Big Chief looking for." Oh my God, I love this movie, man. It was so hilarious. It's got that dude that's in every movie ever made. Louis Guzman. He's
Louis Guzman.
Louis Guzman. You know who I'm talking about, then.
Yeah.
And they're at a bar or something in New York, and he said, "Boy, your face looks like a hat full of buttholes." So like, Sonny's like, "Pepper, man, we here with." He's like, "We don't here for this." He's like, I'm sorry. Let me buy you a beer." So they're standing there and they keep on talking trash, and all of a sudden Pepper's like, "Hey, look, here's your beer," and he just smashes it over his head. So anyway, they end up taking this dude, take him to the zoo, get a calf out. They got him all tied up. They want information. And he's looking at it. He's like, "Man, what's a little cow going to do to me, man?" And I'm like, "Okay." So they dropped trowel. And we're telling him, "Ooh, that's a real form. That is a real old school method of torture, because when a baby cow sees a dangle, they think of it as an udder, and they'll suck it inside out. Like, it's bad. It's real bad." So they did that, and man, they did all kind of stuff. Pepper actually has like a little necklace that he keeps hot pepper in. That movie just made me laugh and laugh and laugh. I don't think not a lot of people that I know have seen it. I tell people about it all the time when we're talking about it. No, I ain't seen that one.
It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I have seen it.
It is so good, man. They get into it a lot too. Like, "Are you boys from Texas or something? Y'all cowboys?" Shit, ain't no real cowboys from Texas. We from New Mexico. Have to bleep me on that one. That's fair. I've done good for 20 episodes.
Excuse me, sir. That's I believe this is number. Oh, you know what? This might be close to 20 episodes, but now you're correct. You're close to it.
It's getting there.
You've gone that far.
Yeah. I just made the list. But yeah, that's a good one to check out. Oh, real quick, before we move on to the next one, because we're getting close to the end. We don't want to too far. It lost money, which. That
doesn't surprise me. No. It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Because of the type of story that it was. It was a funny movie. You had some good actors in it, but the story just was not great.
Right.
It was just
like they didn't build it either. They didn't advertise it real great or anything either.
Right.
But it estimated a budget at $35 million. It grossed $20,280,000 worldwide. So they lost about $5 million. Well, $4 3/4 million that they lost on it. But yeah, it was a great movie, man. Great movie. Y'all, if y'all got time, and
It's definitely
You
worth
ain't even got to
watching.
like. It ain't like it's a western either. It's just a funny movie with some cowboys in it.
Right. It's definitely worth a watch. No doubt.
Absolutely. So, what is your number 5, Christopher?
The one that I went with for the 5th movie was Home Alone. I steered away from the comedy geniuses. I went with Home Alone because it was super funny. You know, Joe Pesci and was it Daniel Bernhardt? Daniel Bernhardt, I think his name is. They were so funny together as the Wet Bandits, breaking into houses and stuff. And then you see Kevin McAllister, played by Macaulay Culkin, getting left home alone at Christmas while the family goes have Christmas somewhere else. They forget to take him because he was sent off to a room by himself, and they forgot to get him because one of the neighbor's kids walked by as they were counting heads at the vehicle, and they thought it was Kevin, and they went on without it. So, great overall movie, hilarious. He does all these things by himself. He wouldn't normally get to do. He's at the house to himself. It's Christmas time. He's doing funny things to make the Wet Bandits think he's not home alone when he sees they're casing out the house and everything and looking in. And they try to come in one night, and he makes them think that there's other people in the house. And then the torture he puts them through at the end when they do get in.
Oh God!
It's the plan laid out in crayon.
Dude, when he puts when he puts the roofing tar down with the nails, and then Harry, oh God!
When I seen that foot touch the nail, I just had to look my head away. I was like,
you can't even watch that part, man. It's like, geez.
No. And of course, it spun off the second one, Home Alone, the sequel in New York, which was equally as good.
I agree.
If not funnier. Great stuff. And I wasn't a huge Macaulay Culkin fan. These are only 2 movies of his that I really cared for. Uncle Buck was all right, but Uncle Buck wasn't a favorite John Candy movie of mine. It was just okay for me.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the only other thing I can think of he had was My Girl and something else, and that just wasn't great stuff.
Right.
I mean,
I respect that pick for sure. For sure. I like that.
Yeah, so that's my 5 for the night. I'll go ahead and just recap my 5 real quick, and then you give us your 5th one and recap yours. But I went Dumb and Dumber, Something About Mary, American Pie, Tommy Boy, and Home Alone as 5 of the funniest. Well, 5 of some of the funniest movies I've seen throughout the 90s.
Heck yeah, I love it. So my 5th one is, you know what? If we made a top 5 favorite comedies movie, if we just made this like a plain old top 5 of my favorite comedies ever, this is liable to be in it. This would definitely be in my top 10. So my number 5 is Robin Hood Men in Tights by Mel Brooks.
So funny, man.
Probably my favorite Mel Brooks movie, to be honest.
Hey, Blinken.
Oh my God, Blinken.
Why did he call you Abe Lincoln?
Yeah, I call you Abe Lincoln. Where Isaac Hayes is a sneeze.
Hold on.
Son of a sneeze.
What's this? Do you have a pen with you right now?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, come on. They fight with the big till you have those little tiny sticks they're trying to fight with.
Yeah, that was when that was Little John. He said, but don't let my name fool you. In real life, I'm very big. It's one of my favorite movies ever, man. You got the Sheriff of Rottingham, Roger Reese. And what's funny about Blinken is Mark Blankfield was the name of the guy that played Blinken.
Yeah.
But a lot of you guys will know Carrey Ills from the very first Saw movie. He was the dude that was trapped in the room with the very first Saw movie. He was also in The Princess Bride, which is
that's what I was going to say. He was in The Princess Bride.
Movie. Yeah. And it's so funny. They were talking about all this. I forgot what exactly it was that they said to him about what makes you think you can do this where everybody else has failed. He's like, because unlike every other Robin Hood, I can speak with an English accent.
And Mel Brooks is most popular for making what, if you think about it? I mean, he's always about comedy, but what were some of his biggest comedies he had out there?
Oh man, definitely Blazing Saddles.
Mm-hmm.
This one,
Spaceballs,
Monty Python. Yep. So in Monty Python, it stretches beyond. Like Monty Python's got 5-6 movies. It was a TV show.
Monty Python, the Holy Grail.
One of my favorites.
Come on.
Yeah.
The Knights, it was like
the Knights who say knee.
The Kniggets. He called them Kniggets.
With the Knights who say knee.
What about what the guy's arms and legs are cut off?
That was the Black Knight at the border. It was just but a flesh wound.
It's a flesh wound.
Come back, I'll bite your bleeding kneecaps off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Patrick Stewart was King Richard. Like,
yes.
It's crazy. Tracy Ullman, who was huge and hilarious at the time. She was so what I loved about this, so if you watch the movie, and that's why I was happy about this pick too, because if you watch the movie that you talked about earlier, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, that is the movie that it makes fun of a lot of other stuff, but that's the main spoof that this is of that movie. So, the Tracy Ullman playing Latrine, she was the one that was, telling the foreseeing the baby and all that. And then you had Amy Yasbeck as Marion. And
look, man, I swear if I knew you were picking this movie, I would have found the WAV file where he's like, I'll pay for this.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll pay for this.
You'll pay for this. I'll pay. Yeah, that was Prince John, wasn't it?
No, it was the Sheriff of Rottingham.
Is it a Sheriff of Rottingham? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God. And Prince John had this huge mole, and it kept like every time it showed him, it was in a different spot. Yeah. Like, every scene he was in, his mole was moved around. Mm-hmm. But he's talking about them fighting with Little John, Eric Kramer. We say real life. That was where they was. He said, "You got to pay the toll, because if you don't pay the toll, we don't get no rolls." I just made that up. So yeah, but anyway, that's one of my favorite comedies ever. I can watch that movie over and over.
So what was your 5 then?
So my five to recap, I'm gonna have to grab my list now, because my 5 to recap were Robin Hood Men in Tights, Ace Ventura, Clerks, The Cowboy Way, and The Waterboy.
Yeah, 5 very funny movies.
Absolutely.
All right, so there you go, everybody. You've got 10 suggestions right there from us tonight. 10, if you have not watched them, 10 great movies from the 90s you can watch. They're very hilarious to see. You will not go wrong with any of them.
No doubt. And you could probably find them to watch for free on some media. And when you find them to watch for free, if you don't like them, we'll give you your money back.
That's right. That's right. Matter of fact, if you don't like them, we'll go a step further. Okay, if you live, say, within a 8 to 10 hour window, and it's summertime now, Travis will come to your house and mow your lawn. One time.
One time, just that once.
Yeah, just once. Don't get greedy.
Yeah, and you got to have some diet root beer, diet A&W on site.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I'll mow your lawn.
Yeah, he will mow.
Nothing over 2 acres.
No.
Yeah.
I think it's nice of you to do that. That's going to earn your way off the list, probably.
It might. And if you are doing a 7-mile radius to, Chris will paint your bathroom.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. If I have any paint in for that week. If not, then you have to wait till I get paint. I'm fairly slow.
Right. And I work second shift, so we're going to have to work something else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
might be late.
I tell you what we'll do. We're going to change this around a little bit. If you're within a 7 or 8 hour window of the general place that he lives, Travis will send his cousin, Chili Ray Phillips, to come mow your yard shirtless.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, he will do.
Yeah, guaranteed.
He will. You can't go wrong.
Chili will do it. And you'll love it.
You will not be unhappy either.
Yeah, have your video recorders ready.
And if you like wrestling, you're really set.
Absolutely.
So, he's going to kill us one of these days.
He loves it.
He's going to kill us one of these days. He'll kill me anyway. You're family to him. He'll kill me. You'll be like, help me bury him.
Help me
So-
bury him.
All right. Well, hey, speaking of burying people, if we don't mention our social media, we're going to bury ourselves here.
Yeah,
So,
you gotta check us out.
make sure, absolutely positively sure that you go to Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Check us out, the name Retro Life for You. That's what we're located on. You can find us in audio form for the podcast on Spotify, Apple iTunes. We are on Anchor FM, or Anchor.fm, where we're hosted.
Yep.
And then you can also find us on Stitcher and Google as well.
Stitcher and Google.
If you do listen to us through Spotify and through Apple iTunes, make sure you give us a rating and a review. On Spotify, you can give us a 5-star rating after listening to some of the show. And on Apple iTunes, you can go and give us a 5-star review and a little bit of feedback there for a review. And it does help the show out greatly if you do it. We'd really appreciate if you took a few moments and you did that. That'd be great. So, Travis, it's been, as usual, a fun time. And we will be back next week. We're taking a deep dive into a favorite movie of ours, a little movie series. We're not going to give it away just yet, but you'll see here shortly. And it's going to be a 2-parter. So you guys will really enjoy that.
Face that bitch! Face that bitch!
What he said.